Mortgage rates are still firmly above 7% and have been holding at the top of our yearly prediction range for weeks now. When will they come down? Housing inventory had another tiny increase this week, but there are still less than 500,000 homes for sale in the entire country. New construction remains the hottest segment of the market as they control most of the available supply and can offer huge incentives and low rates. And new construction homes are flying off the shelves right now. There's been a clear increase in demand the last few weeks for new construction. We're covering all this and much more in today's weekly market update. My name is Michael. I'm a real estate agent here in Dallas, and every Monday I give you a weekly update covering all of Dallas and Collin counties, as well as the national real estate market. We're looking for trends. We're tracking mortgage rates as well as mortgage purchase applications, as that's our best leading indicator to what demand will look like 30 to 90 days from now. We're looking at things like median list price, days on market, how many homes are having price decreases, and what's inventory looking like. And if you stick around until the end, it's my favorite part of the video, the top 10 ranked charts of the hottest and coolest cities and zip codes in all of Dallas and Collin counties. If this sounds like something you're into, make sure and hit the subscribe button. And if you're looking to buy or sell in the Dallas area, whether it's next week or next year, I'd love to connect. I've helped every one of these yellow dots find their little piece of Texas, and I'd love to help you too. Just call, text, or shoot me an email. All that is in the description below. Okay, today is March 4th. Let's see what the data is telling us. And if this is an old video, you can click the playlist here and it'll take you to the latest market update. As always, first up is market news. And since it's a new month, I wanted to see what happened in the market last month now that the data is out. Okay, starting with the median sales price here, we saw in Dallas County a 6.5% increase. In Dallas County, we went from a $350 median price to a $367.5. Collin County, $478,745 to $489. So Collin County only saw a 0.4% increase in sales price. And for fun, because I know some of you watch in Tarrant County, I added that. You guys had a 1.5% sales price increase. So obviously prices are going up. That's totally normal this time of year. January is generally the bottom, and we should go up through June or July, and then we'll slightly decline all the way back down to January and start over next year. Looking at days on market, Dallas County saw fewer days on market, down to 26. Collin County as well, a big drop down to 32, and Tarrant stayed exactly the same at 35. Looking at the number of closed sales, this is not surprising in January. It's typically the slowest month. Dallas County only saw 1,404 sales. That was down 4.7%. Collin County down 8.2%. Tarrant County down 9.9%. But again, if you look every January, there's this big drop off. So this is not surprising at all. And if we look at the number of showings to pending, this is how many showings they got before they got contracted. All three counties are way down on the median. Let's look at average. Way down on average as well, but you can see the biggest was Collin County, 31.1% decrease in the number of showings before this home contracts. So if you were in Dallas County and you wanted to look at the average, you could expect 15.9 showings before you get a contract. Moving on, I wanted to look at the census data for new construction, because every year I have someone who comes to me who's been watching these YouTube videos of the guys who are always saying that prices are going to crash this year for this reason or that reason. And someone every year comes to me saying millions of new construction homes are about to hit the market and this flood of new homes is going to crash the market. So I wanted to kind of talk about that, because in reality, at any given point in the year, there are only going to be about 80,000 new construction homes on the market that are completed and available to buy. So 80,000 new homes will be sitting on the market ready to buy in a country of 330 million people. At no point are builders going to flood the market with homes. Builders are in the business of making money. The last thing they're going to do is crash the market. Many of these builders purchased their land cash a decade ago for way less than they could sell it now. And if the market were to slow, they're very happy to just sit on it and wait for the market to turn again. They are only going to build the supply at the pace that current demand is asking for. So if you look at this chart, this is the completed new homes for sale, seasonally adjusted. You can see back in 2019, 80,000, this range is very normal. And then obviously 2020 happened, rates got too low, there were no existing homes for sale, so everyone went new construction. We went all the way down to only 30,000 homes. And now we finally climbed our way back up and are at a totally normal number of about 80,000. So why would anybody think that there are hundreds of thousands or millions of homes about to hit the market and tank the whole thing? Well, let's look at the data. Well, I suppose if you were to just glance at this data and maybe just look at a headline, you'd see that there have been 661,000 new construction sales in the last year. And some people would see this and go, oh my gosh, they're building almost 700,000 homes. They're all going to hit the market at once and it's going to crash everything. Well, considering there are less than 500,000 homes available on the market today, then yes, if 700,000 homes were to hit the market tomorrow, that would be total chaos and would crash the market. So if you just looked at a headline, I could see how maybe you would get there. But looking at this January census data, if we look at the segment titled For Sale at End of Period, you could read this as for sale as of January 2024. We would see that there are actually 456,000 homes for sale, but 106,000 have not even started construction, 270,000 are under construction, and only 80,000 are completed and on the market. And this number is going to fluctuate very little because builders are going to control that supply. They're only going to build what they think the market is willing to buy right now at the prices that they want. So yes, even if they build 661,000 homes, as they have done every year as of forever, and in fact, in COVID, this number was way higher than 661. There were many times where this number was over 1 million and the market never crashed then because they're only building for the existing demand. So again, of 661,000 homes, only 80,000 of them, and this will remain pretty constant, are going to be available for sale to the public in a country of 330 million people. So if you ever come across one of these articles or videos, you can now know the last people to ever crash the housing market are going to be the builders. If demand slows down, they will simply build less homes and sit on their lots and wait for the market to turn. Okay, moving on. Let's start with national housing inventory. This week we had a tiny increase of just 731 homes for sale in the entire country. We've been talking about this every week, but historically speaking, the bottom of inventory should be the end of January or early February, but ever since COVID, the bottom for inventory started in March, and it's only gotten later every year until last year. It was all the way at April 14th. But so far this year, the inventory bottom happened back on February 16th. So if mortgage rates stay up here over 7%, then February 16th could very well end up being our bottom of inventory for the year, which would be the closest we've been to a normal inventory bottom since before 2020. So this would be good news. Now let's look at new listings data. There were 4,033 more homes listed than the corresponding week last year. So you can see the bright red line, that was last year. The dark red line is this year. So 4,000 more homes, that is pretty significant. Though most of the year, we've really just been tracking along with 2022, just slightly above. We really need to be way higher than that. As I've said, we're at about 500,000 homes for sale in the country. We need to get to 1 million homes for sale in the country to get back to a normal market. So we need this number to blow this out of the water. So it's not really looking that hopeful as of yet. So not what we were hoping for this year, but it's still early in the year. You never know. At some point, maybe more people start listing. Now, a lot of people believe that high rates are going to keep inventory from growing because, of course, everyone who now has a 3% mortgage on their house is not going to want to sell to buy at a 7%. But I have a simple theory as to why inventory can grow this year, even if rates stay at 7%. As we get closer to the spring, more people seasonally are going to list their homes. If rates stay high, that will slow demand. So we have supply increasing from the spring, demand decreasing from high rates, and that low demand will lead to higher days on market, meaning homes will be sitting a little longer. And if homes are sitting longer, then that gives inventory time to stack up and the inventory numbers to grow. So even if rates don't drop, I do think we can see inventory grow this year, which will ultimately lead us to a healthier market in the future. The last thing we cover nationally is the number of homes having price decreases. Every year, it's normal for a third of homes to take a price cut before they sell. Looking at the national chart here, this week, we're at 30.5% of homes having a price decrease, down from 31% this time last year. So this is the closest this gap has been since we've been tracking. All last year, the number of homes having price cuts was several percent below the previous year. Now we're just 0.5% away from being the same as last year. Something you need to know is typically the number of homes having a price cut every week will start to go up around now. So we're getting close to that time seasonally, plus inventory is increasing, plus mortgage rates start increasing. We should be seeing the number of homes having price cuts starting to go up soon. So don't be surprised, this number should start going up now. And all we're gonna be watching for here is, are there any aggressive moves either up or down based on rates? Now we're moving on to mortgage rates. Looking at last week, we started at a 7.13 and we came down to a 7.08, so that's good news. The other good news is that this isn't a huge swing. This is more of a stable week, and we need stability. I don't care if rates stay high as long as they move slower, because stability brings confidence for both buyers and sellers that they're going to be able to make an informed decision, which leads to more sales activity. Now let's look at the 10-year yield. We always like to see what it's doing on Monday, and so far it's doing almost nothing. But the good news is this level, about 4.35, has held. That looks to be the obvious number to beat right now at the top end of rates. Now, the good news is my prediction range was up here. I thought that would get us to a 7.25% mortgage rate. We did not get near that. We got up to like 7.16 or something, which means the spreads are getting better, which is good news. So we've hit the top of the yearly prediction range. We're coming down. Next week is going to be a big deal because the jobs report is next week. Again, I care less about it. I think the Fed cares less about inflation than they do unemployment at this point, because inflation is totally under control. So if next week's jobs report shows that unemployment is still trending downward, I think there is a decent chance that we actually break above this line and head closer to 7.5% rates, somewhere between 7.5% to 8% really. So as sad as it is, we do not want unemployment to be going down. We actually want to see jobless claims going up if you want to be buying a house at a lower rate. But as of now, on Monday, almost nothing has changed. So whatever rate you had Friday, you can expect it to be around there today so far. Now regarding mortgage purchase applications, this week we actually saw another 4.5% decrease in the number of people applying for mortgages. So after 8 straight weeks of positive growth as rates were dropping, we've now had 5 negative weeks. And looking at mortgage rates, it's obvious why. When rates were down at 6.6%, more and more people were applying. As they've gone over 7%, less and less people are applying every week. So mortgage rates are still fully in control of this market. Okay, before we move on to the local market data, if you're considering buying a home in 2024, 2 things. I'm now doing a weekly online home buying webinar. This is for anyone who's considering buying a home in the Dallas-Fort Worth area in 2024. If that's you, click the link below. You can sign up for the next one or you can watch a replay. And number 2, I've developed a max affordability calculator that will help you very quickly and easily get into the ballpark of how much home you could actually afford based on today's rates and your personal financial situation. It'll give you several different options to review, and it takes into account everything all the way down to your tax bracket. It's free to use, so please take advantage of it. And if you're interested in that, you can watch this video next and it'll show you how to use it. Okay, moving on to the local markets, we're starting with the MLS data for Dallas County. There were 416 homes listed in the last week. That's 51 less than the previous week. 333 closed sales. That's 114 more than last week. 273 went under contract, 70 less than last week. And 98 of the homes that closed were immediate sales, meaning they contracted within the first week. That's 22 more than the previous week. In total, there are 1,821 homes either under contract or in pending status. That's 396 less than last week. Moving on to Collin County, we had 322 new listings. That's 3 less than last week. 344 closings. That's 150 more than last week. 177 homes went under contract. That's 14 less than last week. Of the homes that sold, 45 were immediate sales. That's 9 more than last week. And in total, 1,552 homes are either under contract or in pending status. That's 285 less than last week. Okay, let's move on to the local housing data. If you've seen my videos, you know that I like to look at the Market Action Index, which just takes into account all of this information, puts it into one easy to read graphic with a number. Anything at 30 or below would be a buyer's market. Anything above a 30 is just how much of a seller's market are we in. And all we're referencing this for is to see, are things normal or are they not? And so far, everything is totally normal. So we are still in a seller's market. We have a slight seller's advantage. You can see the Market Action Index is starting to curve up, though not significantly if we were to zoom out. And actually you can see that reflected here. So we're looking for trends. It's trending up, but not significantly. So totally normal for the beginning of March. Prices still holding within a range. Everything is looking totally normal. So let's move on to Collin County. And I talk about this every week because it is a little different because there's a lot of new construction over there. So we saw median price of new listings had a drop this week. This is just 1 week. Don't get excited about it. Things can fluctuate like this, but either way, that would take us back to where we were on January 12th. Median list price is still holding within the same range it's been. Same with median price of new listings. The number we've been talking about here in Collin County every week, because again, this is new construction, a large number of the homes will have price increases. We got as high as 9.72% in a single week. We have dropped the last 2 weeks, but still 8% of homes this very week had a price increase, and that's going to be new construction homes. And again, what that tells us is whatever the builders are seeing there on the ground in their community is telling them that it's a good time to start increasing prices because they see demand is coming in and increasing. And again, we're looking for trends, so let's look at that properties with price increases. So if we ignore the weekly and we just look at the 90-day average, it's clear that price increases are a trend that's going up. So focus less on the week to week and just look for the trends. But overall, just looking at the trends for both counties, everything is looking totally normal. Things are going to heat up from here until July or August, but we'll keep tracking to see if anything weird shows up. And I'm telling you, all it's going to take for things to heat up like crazy is if rates drop. If rates drop at this point, forget it. Okay, now we're moving on to my favorite part, the top 10 ranked hottest and coolest cities and zip codes in all of Dallas and Collin County. This is using that same Market Action Index number we just discussed. So starting with the absolute hottest cities, the hottest remains Louisville at a 59.42. So remember, a 30 or below is a buyer's market. This is nearly double. So Louisville is a very hot market, followed by Carrollton remains at number 2. Grapevine heats up one and Coppell cools off one this week, so they trade places. Plano, Allen, Richardson, Saxe, and Garland all remain in their spots. And then for the number 10 spot, Frisco jumps on this week, knocking off Irving. Now zooming into specific zip codes, the absolute hottest is Plano 75023 at a 67.02, followed by Garland 75042, Dallas 75287, Frisco 75035, Louisville 75067, Carrollton 75010, Louisville 75077, Carrollton 75006, Irving 75063, and Dallas 75231. Now we're doing the same thing, looking at the coolest cities and zip codes. Starting with the coolest city, Van Alstyne remains the only buyer's market in all of Dallas and Collin County at a 27.83, followed by Leonard, which retains its spot. White Wright cools off 2 spots. Nevada remains. Seagoville heats up 2 spots. Rockwall remains. Blue Ridge jumps onto the list at number 7. Farmersville remains. Rowlett heats up 2 spots. And Lavon jumps on to the number 10 spot, which is the hottest city on the coolest cities list. And then Red Oak and Balch Springs heated up entirely off the list this week. That's it for this week. Remember, if you're looking to buy or sell in the Dallas area, I'd love to connect. Just call, text, or shoot me an email. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.